Hey everybody, Royalivi here, back with episode 16 of my Sorare Road to Glory. Been a while since the last episode due to the winter break. I've not really had the players available to make teams for the last few game weeks, definitely the quietest time of the Sorare year for me. But I have made lots of changes in the club, so I'll run through those. After it we have a look at how I got on in game week 236. My AZ stack were back in action against Fortuna Sittard. Unsure exactly who would have started after the winter break, but I somehow managed to have all 5 players starting, so happy days there. I didn't put Bruno Martins Indy in the squad as this kind individual on Twitter informed me he was out injured after having toe surgery. So Sugawara was the main defensive player here, yet he quite often plays up on the wing for AZ at the moment, so he's always a decent threat to get some good points and contributions, which he did this week, pouncing on a mistake from Fortuna there. So that was a nice booster to the score. He unfortunately did not get a clean sheet bonus, as with 5 minutes left, Vindel decided to, I don't really know what he decided to do here, as it looks like he's pushed the ball into his own net, and I mean, this is a goalkeeper who costs over 1 Ethereum right now, so, fuck me, there you go. Thankfully, it did not cost me a reward, as we would have been a bit shy of the mark anyway. Some good scores from Encham and the Dion, with some weaker scores from Mitso and my captain Pavlidis, meant we got about 300 points. And it's a bit of a madness at the moment that there's over 12,000 entries in All-Star Rare fighting for 300 rewards between them. 340 points was the minimum needed here to bag a tier 3 card, so, fuck me, that's difficult. Hopefully, when the Austrian and Russian leagues return from their winter breaks, the reward distribution picks up a bit, as otherwise it will be very hard to win rewards most game weeks. But we got 0.02 Ethereum this week to add to the count, so we'll take it, is what it is. And as I said, lots of transfers occurred in the club over the last few weeks, starting off with limited Shevchenko and Zanetti, who I got for 0.042 combined, about £110. I just think in 2022 Sorare are going to have to make big strides after a somewhat stagnant year feature wise. They've mostly focused on new clubs and leagues in 2021, so I think in 2022 they're really going to have to up their game on the gameplay aspect of Sorare, so I do anticipate Legends will eventually start having their time in the special weekly sun at some point, so I picked up these two as cheap options to use when the time comes. And funnily enough, about a week after buying them, Sorare announced some collaboration with Homer Games. Now, honestly, I don't really give a flying fuck about this collaboration. Yeah, it's cool for people who are interested in this, but personally, I don't give a shit, so I thought fuck it, I'll try and sell my Legends in the hype of this announcement, and I managed to flip Zanetti for 0.07 Ethereum, about £165, so happy days there, made some quick easy profit. I couldn't sell Shevchenko in time at the height of his price. It was quite funny seeing people buy at mad prices and then seeing the cards drop very quickly, so whatever, I'll just keep Shevchenko in the club for future special weeklies. And then welcome to the Royalivi Winter Fire Sale. Everything must go. Kiri Shelton sold, Cascante sold, Dos Santos, you guessed it, he's been sold. Romain Metanire, I'm looking for his card in the club, I can't see it. Yeah, that's right, he's been sold. Tobias Keynes sold, and Josie Outador, more like Josie out the door, because that's where he's gone. He's sold, and all in all, these players went for a grand total of 0.271 Ethereum, about £750. Now, Shelton is a decent player, but he doesn't get loads of contributions and scores pretty averagely on So5. With Polido coming back from injury as well next season, he might find his game time a bit limited, so I was quite happy to move him on, as well as the Cascante I got from part of his trade deal. For Dos Santos, yeah, I could have kept him as an option now he's in the Liga MX with Club America, but I just like to have all my America bracket players coming from the MLS, so quite content to add the Ethereum into the account for him. Metanire was like my 5th choice MLS defender, so no issue in liquidating him for some Ethereum. My extra Tobias Keynes was exactly that, extra, so happy to sell him on. Could have held for a few more weeks for a bit more profit, but I wanted to get the Ethereum back into my budget straight away, so I made a decent profit on him in the end. And then Altidore, well, he was a baller a few seasons back in the MLS, but he just ain't it anymore, lads, so happy to get 0.045 Ethereum for a card that I want as a tier 3 reward, so no complaints from me there. I then sold a bunch of useless limited cards, not for any particular reason, they were just sort of pissing me off having them sat there in my club doing fuck all, so been quite a few of them off. I think overall on the limited players I sold in this frenzy that I actually managed to make a profit, so that's all sunshine and rainbows. Adding some more Ethereum to the club by tidying up my assets a bit, I managed to sell all these players for a combined 0.04 Ethereum, about £90. I then went out and got Golner, Stekiel, Tadic, Earhart and Salinger for 0.231 Ethereum combined, just to get my TSV Heartbreak collection ready for the season resuming in February. Now Heartbreak have 14 games left, so I'm hoping I can pick up a few rewards along the way with my rare and limited stacks. The Austrian League actually splits into a top and bottom half with 10 games remaining, so I'm hoping Heartbreak finish just inside the bottom section to allow for some easier fixtures from their remaining 10 games. As long as they don't get fucking relegated, I'm happy, so we'll see how that works out come February. And then I've had a goalkeeping dilemma for my MLS teams for a while now that I needed to sort out. Michael Nelson of Houston will likely not be the number 1 next season now that they've signed Steve Clark, so I had to go out and get another keeper. I was scouting around and noticed Toronto only had 2 keepers in Bono and Westberg, who were both comparatively cheaper compared to other starting keepers in the MLS, so I went out and bought them both for 0.16 Ethereum combined. Happy days, good stuff, right? In 2, I did a bit more digging and it turns out Toronto were heavily linked with Milan Borjan becoming their number 1, which in essence would have made my Bono and Westberg useless. To then top it off, everyone on the Toronto FC forums were all in unison that Bono and Westberg are, you know, both pretty shit goalkeepers, so yeah, needless to say, I was not filled with optimism, so luckily I managed to go out and offload them both for a small Ethereum profit. Bono for a total of 0.12 Ethereum after I sold the Polo I received in the trade, and then Westberg, who I sold for 0.055 Ethereum, so about £410 back for them both. And actually both players are the same manager, so he probably had the same idea that I had, the only difference being that I completely bottled it after buying them both, so you know, better luck for him hopefully. And while I did make an Ethereum profit on these players, due to the dip in price of Ethereum between selling them, I actually lost £40 in total from this little stunt. And you know, to top it off, I'm still without a starting goalkeeper, so I thought fuck it, after a bit more scouting, I bit the bullet on Pedro Galice at 0.3 Ethereum, about £670. And you know what, very happy with this, a fairly expensive outlay, but when you look at Sorare data, he was actually going for more, even when Ethereum was priced closer to £3,000, so you can see him going for close to 0.35 Ethereum over December, which at the time would have been over £1,000 in fiat, so you know, I think I've got him for a somewhat decent price, and it should solve my MLS keeper problems for the foreseeable future. He is contracted for next season, and is in talks about extending his deal beyond that, so you know, yeah, looking forward to the start of the MLS season with Galice in between the sticks. Whew, okay, with all that out of the way, here's my all-star lineup for game week 238, an exact replica of my most recent team. Martins Indy missed the cup game against 20 midweek. It might be due to AZ resting him to get him fit and ready for the league game on the weekend, but I'm unsure on that one, so I don't want to risk a DMP there, so I'm going to sit him out for this game week and go again with the Dion, Sugawara, Mitso and Cham and Pavlidis, and I'm going to take a bit of a risk here and captain in Cham this week. Swansea are at home to Preston. I'd fancy Swansea there personally, and Cham doesn't always start though, so a bit of a risk, but you know what, fuck it, let's go for it, and hopefully at a minimum we're hitting that second threshold again. And you know what, maybe this team can push on and get enough points to win me a reward, so stick around next episode to find out how I do. And of course, thank you to everyone who watched and liked and all that jazz. Do subscribe for more Sorare content. Looking forward to a good 2022 with Sorare and hopefully Footium as well, so stick around to follow the journeys there, and I will catch you next time.